Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining the Senior to Senior panel. Congratulations on being accepted to Gettysburg. First of all, my name is Nich Vunn. I am a senior at Gettysburg College. I'm studying economics and international affairs. I'm an international student from Cambodia, all the way from Southeast Asia. And on campus, I am a student assistant at the Center for Career Engagement, which is an office on campus that provides career services to students. For instance, if students need help with resume, cover letter, or mock interview for internship application, job application, or graduate school application, our office does all of that. And then I also am a program coordinator at the Center for Public Service, which is an organization on campus that promotes social justice on and off campus. And we have various different programs that students can get involved with in terms of volunteering work. We have migrant education, Big Brothers and Big Sisters, where our program partners with local communities here in Gettysburg, which allows students to get involved in terms of community service. And I am overseeing immersion projects, which is off campus studies to different cities in the US and other countries that happens over winter break and spring break. And I got to lead an immersion project to Alabama over winter break in 2020 and got to learn about the civil rights movement in the 60s. And through the Center for Public Service, I also involved with the summer fellowship to Namibia in southern part of Africa. And I was there for 10 weeks to learn about youth and development, which was a great learning experience for me. This summer, I will be working at a law firm in DC. And my future goal is to go to law school and become a human rights lawyer one day. So I think with this opportunity this summer, that would allow me to me with that decision-making process. Without further ado, let's have Diego introduce yourself to everyone.
All right. Hello, everybody. My name is Diego J. Joseph. I'm a sociology major and a peace and justice minor. I'm originally from Trinidad and Tobago, but I've lived in Philadelphia for most of my life. So on campus, I have the pleasure of being the house leader for Mosaic House, which is one of the cultural houses here on Gettysburg College campus. It is involved in the College House program that we have here, which is an alternative for upperclassmen to be more engaged with their community and people with like-minded ideas, things like that. I also have the pleasure of being the student IT manager at GTech, which is the student computing department. We help any tech issues that students might have, whether it be laptops, video game consoles, streaming devices, anything like that. So that's my part in it as well. I'm also working for admissions as a multicultural ambassador. We speak with prospective students who might have an interest in coming to Gettysburg College. We just talk about our diverse backgrounds, our own experiences, and things like that. Hopefully, after I graduate, I would love to work in an inside sales representative job. If not, I'd like to take some time just to reflect and see exactly what I want to do with my sociology degree. I hope that you guys have a great night tonight. And further ado, I pass it off to Zach.
Thanks, Diego. My name is Zach Debesch. I'm from Arlington, Massachusetts, just outside Boston, and I am a music and environmental studies double major. My instrument in the music major is voice. I'm a tenor. In the conservatory and in admissions, I work as a music ambassador, which is part of sort of introducing prospective students to the conservatory and being a sort of a bridge between those two departments, between music and admissions. I'm also part of the Gettysburg College Choir, the Gettysburg College Camerata, which are two of our choirs on campus. And I'm the assistant manager of the Gettysburg College Choir. We just went on tour this past spring break, just up to New York and around in Long Island, touring at local churches and schools, which was really fun. I'm also a part of the Sunderman Student Advisory Council, which helps Sunderman Conservatory students and faculty interact and bring up issues that need to be addressed with both parties. I am very involved in theater on campus with our Owl and Nightingale Players Club and organization. I have done many musicals and plays while I've been here at Gettysburg. And right now I'm involved in the opera workshop production, which happens every spring. And that is a class that you put on a full opera, fully costumed, fully choreographed, and all of that. And that's a really, really great experience. I also just studied abroad in Norway last spring and studied outdoor education, which was part of my environmental studies degree. And so that was an amazing experience as well. And going forwards, I am probably going to be moving back to Boston and pursuing music there and applying to grad schools for performance starting next spring. And finally, Jordyn.
Hello, my name is Jordyn Markle, and I'm a senior biochemistry and molecular biology major from Douglassville, Pennsylvania. On campus, I participate in quite a few clubs. I'm the president of Skeptical Chemists, which hosts fun chemistry-focused activities to help students get to know the chemistry faculty better. I'm also the treasurer of STEMinists, which aims to raise awareness to the contribution of underrepresented groups in the STEM fields. I'm also a member of Biosphere, which is our biology-focused club on campus that hosts career development activities, as well as just some more fun bio-focused activities. I am also a peer learning associate for general chemistry, where I provide homework help and tutoring to students taking introductory chemistry. I'm also a Lincoln Scholar mentor for first-year students receiving the Abraham Lincoln Scholarship to help them adjust to college life. Beyond clubs, I conduct research in the chemistry department in the Fry Lab, where I've been researching the interaction of Huntington proteins with cell membranes for the past 3 years. And that includes 3 summers of full-time research through the Cross-Disciplinary Science Institute at Gettysburg. Huntington protein is the protein involved in Huntington's disease, and we're looking to see how it interacts with cells to figure out how the disease occurs. And then with that knowledge, we're hoping that our research can contribute the information necessary to develop a cure for Huntington's disease. I've had the opportunity to present this research at national scientific conferences, most recently in San Francisco this past February, and it has just been an absolute amazing experience. After graduation, I will pursue a PhD in chemistry. I've been accepted to 10 top 20 chemistry PhD programs all throughout the country, and I'm currently deciding which to attend. I look forward to sharing my experiences with you, and I hope this panel is helpful.
Thank you so much, everyone. Yes, like everyone mentioned, we're really excited to be here to share our experiences. So please put your questions in the chat, and we're really excited to answer them. But to start off, let's why did you choose Gettysburg, and what continues to make it a good decision for you? How about we start with Jordyn?
Sure. So I chose Gettysburg because when I came to campus for my initial tour and then for Get Acquainted Day, it really felt like home. I really just loved the campus. I love the area. And everyone that I encountered was super nice and super enthusiastic and just very helpful overall. And it felt like a place where I could thrive and also just be happy with my general surroundings. I really enjoy the town of Gettysburg. I think there's a lot to do in the area, both on and off campus. And then in terms of why it continues to be a good decision, I've been very successful. I've had so many opportunities, and I've definitely had the support system to help me find my path and get involved in campus as much as I would like to be. And my Gettysburg experience has definitely enabled me to pursue exactly what I want, which is a PhD in chemistry. And along with the help of my professors and the other faculty at Gettysburg College, it's really prepared me well for graduate school.
That's awesome. How about you, Zach? Why did you decide on Gettysburg?
Well, I found Gettysburg through kind of a special connection. One of the faculty of our conservatory, Dr. Jocelyn Swigger, who is our piano professor, she is good friends with my parents. And so I knew her before I even was thinking about going to college. And she said, I think you should check out Gettysburg. I wouldn't say that if I didn't think you would like it. I know maybe you might think I would be biased, but I think I would only tell you if you liked it. And so I decided to other schools as well. But when I came, I was able to sing with the choir on my day visit, and that was a really great and really it really brought me into the community, which was so amazing. And for me, music is such a big part of my life, and so I really love doing that. Not only that, but I intended to come in as an environmental studies major and music minor, and I ended up being a music major and environmental studies major. And so Gettysburg has been the perfect place for me because I am able to do of arts in music and a Bachelor of Science in environmental studies and pursue two of my passions in equal weight and equal time here, and equal importance. And so the performance opportunities in the conservatory for me and that sort of community has been really great, along with research opportunities and more scientific pursuits in the environmental studies degree.
Awesome. Thank you, Zach. How about you, Diego? What was your experience like deciding on Gettysburg?
I think for myself, it took some time to realize that this is a place where I know I can grow, and this is a place where I know I can feel comfortable. I was part of a scholarship program back in Philadelphia called Philadelphia Futures, which took us on different kind of college tours across the country and everything like that. When I came to Gettysburg, I felt at home. I felt that this was somewhere where I know I can make an impact. And that's exactly what happened. I was able to come here without having to take out any student loans, which was very nice. And the people that I was engaging with had different kind of walks of life, diverse backgrounds, and I knew coming into this community that I could also add something. And I strongly suggest for everybody that's watching, regardless of wherever you go, that you find that place where you feel comfortable, where you feel like you can make an impact. If you feel like there's change that needs to be done somewhere, then be that change or encourage that change or help in creating that change with a group of people. So that's what I felt Gettysburg presented that opportunity for me, and that's why I continue to enjoy being here for as long as we might have left. So
yeah, 4 more weeks before all of us are graduating. It's going by really fast. I agree with you. I think for me, my experience was a little bit different from the three of you. I'm an international student from Cambodia. So when I was looking at schools here in the US, I was interested in studying abroad, specifically in the US, because my high school, I was instructed in American curriculum. So it made sense that I was looking at school here since I was already familiar with the curriculum. But I didn't get a chance to tour schools while I was applying. So, and I knew I was interested in going to a small liberal arts school, and because of like that, like you said, the Zach, like research opportunity, the ability to have that connection with professors in small class size, and also I didn't know what I wanted to do. Right, I had so many interests. I was like, I'm interested in international affairs, economics, political science, all of this field, but I really didn't know what I wanted to major. So I thought maybe going to liberal arts school would allow me to have that more time to decide. So, and Gettysburg stood out to me because of the Eisenhower Institute and the proximity to DC. And I saw a lot of the programs were gearing towards, policy work and having that hands-on experience in the DC, the capital city. So I was like, this is something really cool. And so I spoke with a Cambodian student she was a sophomore at the time, and she said she talked about her experience securing an internship already as a sophomore in DC, and I thought, oh my gosh, that's so cool. I wanted to have that experience too. So that was like the main reason why I decided on Gettysburg. But we have another question from the audience. So what do students do when they're not in class, and do they stay on campus or go into town? What events are important to the student body? Zach, do you want to take a stab on that?
Yes, I'd love to. So For me, I know that one of the biggest things that I do when I'm not in class is do theater and performance opportunities like that. All of our productions are open to all students. There's no major requirement. You don't have to be a theater major. I'm not a theater major for any musical or play. And I've had some really wonderful experiences with our, I think one of our theater professors, Chris Kaufman, who has directed me in multiple musicals. And I've had such a great time with that. And we also have guest directors who come in and direct plays and musicals. We recently had an alum who her name is Sarah Bellin, and she works in New York for a theater company, but she just came back and directed Twelfth Night by William Shakespeare, which I got the privilege of seeing, which was so great, and the music especially was great. But I also love to run, and so I have enjoyed running in the battlefields so much. Every weekend I go for one or two long runs and get to see the beautiful scenery and sort of escape from the work we have to do every once in a while, which is nice. And I know a lot of people enjoy going out to the different shops and restaurants that are in this town, thanks to a lot of the historic nature of our town. And all of the tourism that comes in the summer. These businesses still stay open most of the time, and so we get to enjoy those as well, which is great. And so events that are important to the student body, I'd say a lot of the performances, a lot of people come to them, but also there are tons of intramural sports and sporting events that a lot of people go to as well, that I've had a good time going to and seeing friends in and playing intramural sports. For me, it's volleyball. I love intramural volleyball, which has been really fun.
That's great. I am taking Fundamental to Acting with Chris Kaufman, and part of our assignment is to go and watch 12 Nights, and I loved it. It's a great play, and I got to learn more about the artistic side of our college, which is awesome. I agree with you, Zach. I love running too, and I really appreciate the opportunity to have access to the battlefield. It's so beautiful right now. Spring is coming, so I get a chance to run and go for walks around campus. And also, like you said, we have hundreds of clubs and activities for students to get involved with. And a lot of my friends are from different majors. I have friends who are in the Sentiment Conservatory, and they have like recitals or in plays, and I would go, and they would have like on the weekends have their recitals, and I would go and support them. And in town they have like restaurants and music, like cute shops that we can go and like hang out with friends on the weekends as well. How about you, Diego? What is your typical weekends look like, or a time off from class?
So for me, I'm the house leader for Mosaic House. So usually my time off involves creating events for my house, for my residents, or creating events for the entire Gettysburg College community. So one of those things is involved in doing the block party that we have planned for Springfest that involves every college house. What we're going to do is shut down Carlisle Street. We're going to have different events from different houses. So that's what goes into my weekends most of the time. And if not, usually I like to spend my time with DCF, which is the Disciple Christian Fellowship group on campus. Usually we would just hang out. We would have Bible studies, things like that. Or I would also like to go to the gym. There are plenty of different things in town as well. I'm a comic book nerd myself, so I like to go into town and look at the comic books. I like to go into town and look at the candy. I'm also a sweet tooth, so there's so many different things that they have within the town itself, as well as the college community. I know we have the Campus Activity Board, also known as CAB, and they always create different kinds of events to keep us interested and keep us engaged, whether it be something like paintball or DC or somewhere like that. So there's plenty of things to do. You just need to decide what exactly you want to do. So.
Sorry about that. My screen just just went off, but I'm back. Yeah, Jordyn, do you want to talk a little bit about?
Yeah, so a lot of my response to this question has already been said. I love going out into town on the weekends and seeing the battlefield. But something that hasn't been mentioned yet that I think is really useful is a platform that we have called Engage Gettysburg. So Engage Gettysburg is a website, and it lists all the activities happening on campus, when and where, and it breaks it down by day, time, and place. So that's super useful to just see what's going on in campus, because there's so much going on at any given time. They'll host activities like bingo, and sometimes theme houses will do like plant potting things. So you can go and get a flower, which I just did earlier this week. Or they'll have paint nights. So I really enjoy just looking at Engage Gettysburg and seeing what cool activities there are. Because it's just, a fun, free way to spend some time with your friends and, maybe do some tie-dye or something fun like that. So I like going out to town, and I think there's plenty to do on campus too. I think Gettysburg is really good about hosting activities for the students.
I agree. Thank you, Jordyn. Another thing I wanted to mention too is that we also have Greek life on campus too. We have sororities and fraternities, and students can get involved with that as well. Students are not allowed to pledge until their sophomore year. However, 35% of our student body are involved with Greek life. However, if you're not a part of Greek life, there's a lot of other things that you can get involved with as well, as mentioned by the four of us. But that's definitely an option for students if they're interested in having that opportunity while going to Gettysburg. Okay, so our third question is, do you feel Gettysburg has given you opportunities that will help or aid you in your future career? Particularly, do students get internships? So I can start with this question. Like I mentioned earlier, when I came to Gettysburg 4 years ago, I didn't really know what I wanted to study or wanted to major, what I wanted to do with my life. But however, I knew that I was interested in community service, social justice work. And I got involved thankfully with the Center for Public Service, and through that opportunity, I got to go to Namibia to learn about youth and development for the summer. And I was interested in community development and that relationship with the community and different social justice issues. And then I applied to be a program coordinator during my sophomore year. And also with my courseworks too, with economics and international affairs, I was able to be introduced to different ways to do research through qualitative and quantitative analysis. So I get to be exposed to a variety of different ways that I have a passion for one specific topic. What are some of the ways I can seek solutions to it? And through economics, for instance, I use statistical analysis and my professors are super helpful in helping me with that as well. So in terms of that, with my courseworks and my involvement with the Center for Public Service, I wanted to work with NGOs and international organizations. So I went to the Center for Career Engagement and I made an appointment with a counselor. I was like, this is my interest. This coursework that I've taken, this is my involvement on campus. How can you help me? This is where I wanted to go. And I made an appointment with Chris, one of our beloved counselor at the Career Services. And he connected me with one of our alums who worked at a nonprofit in DC. And I had a conversation with her and her involvement with this nonprofit called Vital Voices. And she, from that conversation, she forwarded me the opportunity for a job, summer internship opening. So I applied for a human rights internship the summer after my sophomore year, and I got to have that opportunity. And so it's so I think to sum up, it's there's so many opportunities, and the Career Services is really great in providing students with resources, connecting with alums. We have Connect Gettysburg, where our alums have accounts on, and they can create their account, a profile on Connect Gettysburg, and students can reach out to them directly on the app, which is a great way to, network and meet people. We also have LinkedIn, where students again can, reach out to alums if they have any, advice or suggestions regarding career. How about you, Zach? What is your experience like with having opportunities regarding internships, or how have your involvement on campus help you realizing your future career?
Yes. So for me, as someone with two pretty different majors, I've gotten the opportunity both in my environmental studies major and my music major to explore different things, and both of those departments have been extremely helpful and very willing to let me explore different things, especially in the environmental studies department. The major itself is inherently exploratory in the different classes that we take. There's environmental humanities with my advisor, who's Dr. Salma Monani. She teaches a great class which involves environmental journalism and sort of interaction as an environmentalist. And then we also take classes like geology or world systems, where we learn about, different rock types and the processes of the earth and oceanography and things like that with Dr. Sarah Principato. So that has been really great to help me explore what I want to do in terms of environmentalism. And in the music department, in the conservatory, I have been able to, as a vocalist in our opera workshop class, create my performance resume as part of the class. And our head of the voice area, Dr. Susan Homiller, she gives us multiple classes about the way that you could get into working in an opera career or a musical theater career, and how you might be able to do that using, young artist programs and auditioning for grad schools and things like that. So I felt very prepared and very sort of encouraged to explore different things in terms of my future career possibilities.
Thank you, Zach. How about you, Jordyn?
Yeah, so I knew from starting at Gettysburg that I was interested in pursuing research. So for me, that looked like getting involved with talking to professors about research opportunities. And something that was particularly helpful for me was the Cross-Disciplinary Science Institute at Gettysburg. So what this is a program focused on helping students become research ready, research active, and research connected. And they host a summer program where for 8 weeks, you are able to stay on campus and conduct research full time. And not only is it fully funded, like you get free housing and free meals while you're on campus, but you also get a stipend, which is about $4,000, I believe. So that was an application process where about February, I believe, you'll be sent a list of professors participating in that program. And it's not only chemistry and biology, but it's also mathematics and physics and health sciences. So there's a wide range of professors participating in the program. And as part of that, you meet with a few faculty members whose research you might be interested in. And then you apply to the program, and you're matched with a professor. So even as first-year students, you can get involved in that. I received a position when I was a first-year student, and so that enabled me to begin research in the spring of my freshman year. And so that was a really great experience, and that has really prepared me well for pursuing graduate school. But it's also very good for students who might want to just pursue jobs right after graduation, who might be interested in medical school. It's really helpful to have that research background. And I also think it helped me a lot in my classes. Having that ability to conduct research and think like a scientist has helped me in my other classes as well. And then Beyond science, there's a program called the Colby Fellowship for more humanities-focused students, and that is similar. It's a summer program that's funded. You get housing, and students essentially propose a research project, and they're given a stipend to buy materials for their research project. And it might be examining literature from a particular time period and writing a paper. So there are plenty of opportunities. And then moreover, it's really important to check your email. So we get a daily student digest. And often in that student digest, there will be information about internships and different events going on over the summer that you could get involved in. And there's always the career engagement office, who are super helpful for finding summer programs. And so there are really a wealth of opportunities available, and it's just up to you to figure out what you would like to do.
I agree with you, Jordyn. You mentioned the career services, which is a great way for students to get internship. I also wanted to point out professors too, because we're such a small school. The average class that I've had is around 16 students in the class. So my professor knows me just within the first week. So that gives me a really great opportunity to get to know them, and they know my interests, going to their office hours to get help. So if they know any of the opportunities related to internship, because of their field and connection, they'll reach out to me and the students with those opportunities as well. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Diego, maybe you can start us off with this one. What are these study abroad opportunities like, and is it common and easy for a Gettysburg student to do it?
Oh yeah, the study abroad programs here are absolutely amazing. I know that it depends on your major. Usually, at least for my position as a sociology major, there are different places that I could go, such as Tokyo. I could have gone to Egypt, different kinds of countries. And also there's places you can go inside the country as well if you would like to stay in the United States. Most students do end up studying abroad. I was going to study abroad. Unfortunately, this little global pandemic hit in between the time, so unfortunately I wasn't able to, but I know a lot of students study abroad. I think Zach actually mentioned in his introduction that he studied abroad. So Zach, I don't know if you could piggyback off of what I'm saying, just so I make sure that I'm not saying anything incorrect. So,
you started it off great. I'm sorry you didn't get to go abroad. So my experience was similar, and it was almost exactly the same. My plan was to for a whole year, 1 semester in Vienna, and I would be studying music in Vienna, Austria, for the fall semester of 2020, and then the spring of 2021, I plan to go to Norway to study outdoor education. And because of the pandemic, I was not able to go to Vienna, but I was still able to go to Norway, which was a great privilege and very lucky. I feel very lucky to have been able to go. And my experience was great in terms both of when I got there, what I did was amazing. I made friends with a ton of international students who were from different countries, a lot of European countries, Germans and Austrians and Belgian people, but also who are in my program, but also Norwegians. And we all bonded very closely because specifically for our program, we all took all of our classes together, and a lot of those classes involved outdoor experiences, outdoor trips, cross-country skiing trips in the mountains. And we also focused a lot on educational theory in outdoor education. So we got to teach kids and learn about different ways that children can benefit from outdoor experiences. And also, before I went, the whole process of going abroad was made very easy by our Center for Global Education, which they helped me through every step of the way, through getting a visa, through making sure all of my documents were in place. They were extremely responsive, and it made it easy, even in the midst of a pandemic. And I know, yeah, almost 60%, I think, of our students go abroad or are able to go abroad and do go abroad. And for almost every major, there is an opportunity to go abroad somewhere. There are at least one or two countries probably for every major that you could go to. And like Diego said, there are also programs where you could go to DC for a semester and study there, or go to somewhere else in the US and study there for a semester as your abroad experience.
Totally, Zach. I think I'm an international student here in the US, and I cannot say enough about the great opportunities, just immersing yourself in a different culture, and especially if you also speak another language. English is my second language, so be able to speak it all the time is definitely something different. And also, if students are not fully ready to commit to studying abroad, we also have other opportunities as well, like a short-term project or trips that allow students to go to different cities and other countries. For instance, like immersion projects. It's a 10 days long trip during winter and spring break, and facilitated by the Center for Public Service. And each trips have different topics. Like, for instance, this spring break, we had a trip to Costa Rica that focuses on health and education, and then one to Pine Ridge in South Dakota to learn about the Native Americans' rights and indigenous people. So that is a great way for students to also get involved too. And we also have the fellowship through the Center for Public Service that happens over the summer, where students can, again, take on that opportunities before they decide on going for a full semester to for off-campus studies. Okay, so let's
Can I add one more thing?
Go for it, Zach. Yeah, totally.
It's related. Like I said in my intro, I'm in the college choir, and we went on tour to New York this year. Mm-hmm. But every 4 years, the college choir gets to go on an international tour. And in the past, it has been to Nicaragua. And in my freshman year, we got to go to Puerto Rico for a week for spring break, and perform at schools and venues there, which was an amazing opportunity that I think a lot of college choirs don't get to do. So just wanted to add that.
That's great. Thank you, Zach. And again, please drop in questions and anything that you wanted us to answer. We're here and we're really excited. But okay, let's go to our next question. What is academic advising like on campus, and what is your experience like, or your relationship with your advisors? How about Diego? Can you start us off?
So coming into college, I also did not know what I wanted to do. My advisor was based off of my first year seminar, which is basically a seminar that you would take as a first year here at Gettysburg. It's just piquing your interest, just getting you to communicate with professors and getting used to writing or just the workload here as a college student. And my advisor for that class was part of the Japanese department, Hogan Sensei. And she was probably one of the sweetest people I've ever had the pleasure of meeting here on campus. She was very easy to talk to, funny, and she loved a lot of pop culture stuff that I also love. However, she was not the major that I wanted. So as a sociology major, I was able to connect with Professor Stanley, who is also very nice, who is also very easy to talk to. So overall, my relationship and experiences with advisors have been phenomenal. They're easy to speak with, they're easy to get access to, and it's like having a somewhat of a parent on campus because they want to make sure that you're on top of your assignments. And honestly speaking, they just want to make sure that you're doing all right mentally too. So if you feel as if you're struggling a little bit, if you feel as if you're going through something emotionally, mentally, physically, anything, they're there to talk to you. So that's been my experience.
That's great. Thank you, Diego. How about you, Jordyn?
Yeah, so I've had a really positive experience with all my advisors here at Gettysburg. So As Diego mentioned, you're assigned an advisor during your first year. For Diego, it sounds like she was your first year seminar professor, but in my case, it was actually not the professor, was actually somebody in the major that I was intending to pursue. So it worked out well for me in that regard, but generally the first year advisors are really there for you to adjust to college life. And for a lot of people, they might not be taking intensive major classes their first year at Gettysburg. Advisors are around to help you kind of curate your first year schedule, especially when you talk to them over the summer. You'll get a chance to speak with an advisor before you pick your classes for the fall. So you'll get the chance to just make sure you're on the right track. And then you'll speak with them throughout the years as it gets time to pick classes for the following semester. And then whenever you declare your major, you will get an advisor in your major. And so what I've found is that a lot of times students will have their official advisor, and then they'll have quite a few unofficial advisors as well as they get to know faculty and professors better. So it's really helpful to have an advisor, both for making sure you're on track with all your classes, but then also just to talk about life stuff. Like for me, it was graduate school and figuring out where to apply and what I should be looking at. And so my advisor that I've had since my freshman year is still my advisor now, and that's really beneficial because she knows me so well. So she's really able to give me that personalized advice.
That's amazing. Thank you, Jordyn. And I agree with you all. I think having an advisor on campus, college can be, it's require a lot of work, and Gettysburg is a rigorous school that you have to put the work into it, but also having the opportunity, the ability that our mental health is like being prioritized, and like having someone that we can go and talk to, and not just academically, but also like their lives. And like, for instance, like my advisor, Professor Reyes, she took us some of her advisees, and I'm one of them, and we go on ice cream to Mr. G on the weekends, and that she's telling us stories about her family, and it's having that relationship and connection is really, really nice to have, and they're like families on campus. And in terms of workload on campus, I think students are, for me, like I said, Gettysburg is a rigorous school, and you have to put the work into it. And time management is something that I've learned throughout my time here. Something that worked for me is to communicate to my professor. And like, they have high expectations for us, but also there's certain things that would happen throughout the semester, like you never know, like an emergency or something, and they're very understanding. Just communicate that to my professor, and they're really understanding and giving us the space to, if they need it. And for me, I thought I wouldn't be able to double major. I thought, oh my gosh, like I didn't even know like what to major. But having an first year academic advising was really helpful, because she really, after talking to my advisor, I said I took an economics class and I really enjoyed it. But she's in women, sexuality and gender sexualities department. So she connected me to an economics professor, Professor Reyes, who's my academic advisor currently. And after having conversation with my professor, my advisor, she said it's okay to double majors, because some of the classes counted for both my international affairs and economics, and we planned it out, what courses I should be taking in the fall and the spring, moving forward. And right now I'm double majoring, and I'm able to graduate on time. So it's definitely doable. How about you, Zach? You're also double majoring. How is that going for you?
It's been great. For me, as I said before, it's really amazing to be able to pursue two very different passions of mine, and even occasionally marry them in some projects, in some ways. But having an advisor in each of my majors has been a really useful thing that Gettysburg does. My music major and my environmental studies know that the other exists, and they know that I am trying to juggle both, and they're both very flexible and understand that I need to get certain requirements done certain semesters, and they've allowed me, and it's still allowed me to explore other classes that are outside my two majors, that I might be interested in as well. And personally, it's been very refreshing almost to have such different majors, because I can choose to focus one semester more on one or more on the other, or have a more even split between the two majors, and sort of use different parts of my brain, and like think about music for Monday, Wednesday, Friday. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, I'm in a lab and doing environmental studies work. So that is challenging, but I think it's been one of the most fun things as well.
That's great. Thank you, Zach. Our next question is, do you all have your favorite comfort spots on campus? Jordyn?
Sure. So I like the library a lot. It's very nice because there'll be like different levels on the library, have different levels of noise. So the first floor, encourages talking and, collaboration and, sitting with your friends. But as you move up in the library, it gets progressively quieter. So by the third floor and the fourth floor, you can hear a pin drop, and everyone's just, grinding on their homework. So I like to go to the library when, I really need to focus on something. I really need to get something done. But I also really like to hang out in the Science Center. I find that, when I have something more casual that's not super urgent to get done, I like to sit in the lobby of the Science Center. And then it's nice to, see my friends who pass by and get to have conversations with people who maybe I don't see a ton. So I really like to move throughout campus, get out of my room. And there's definitely a lot of places to do that. There is a little gazebo in the middle of campus that's really fun to sit in as a little bench. So that's very cute if you need to do your class reading. So there are lots of places outside if the weather's nice. If you haven't been to campus, strongly recommend it. It's absolutely beautiful, especially this time of year. All the trees and the flowers are blooming. So it's a great time to see campus if you haven't yet.
I agree, Jordyn. How about you, Diego?
Well, we're actually in one of my comfort spots right now. This is the Office of Multicultural Engagement. This is the basement, to be more specific. This is usually where I would come do my homework. I would cook. Sometimes we have a kitchen here. So, if you want a snack, a late night snack, you could always come down here. It also helps that I live about upstairs, so I can just come down here and do almost anything at any time. And usually there's a classroom on the second level of the Office of Multicultural Engagement, where most classes are had during the week. But during the weekends, I know some of my residents, they spend their time doing homework there, or there's a little lounge area outside of the classroom where you can watch TV. And other than the Office of Multicultural Engagement, there are other places that I love to go, like Gladfelter, where most of my sociology classes are had again during the weekends. It's usually empty. So if you want to get that classroom feel that you have to be focused without actually being in class, that's definitely a place where you can go. I also love the Innovation and Creativity Lab that's located in West Building that has 3D printers, which is unbelievably cool to me. Resin printers, so much things in there that it's unbelievably amazing. So this is just a long way of saying definitely come to the campus, definitely visit the campus, because there are so many different ins and outs that I feel like you guys would definitely enjoy. So those are just a few of my comfort spots.
I agree. Zach, can you touch a little bit about the student culture and also, of course, your favorite spot on campus?
Definitely. So I kind of, they're similar answers almost to me. One of my favorite places to be when the weather hits it is to be outside on a blanket or in the Adirondack chairs on a lawn somewhere outside the library, or yeah, that's really a good spot, just outside the library. Doing work, but also playing hacky sack or playing frisbee with some of my friends. That is one of my favorite things ever. And that it is also wonderful to see so many people out and about, and so many people doing work and sort of congregating outside. And it's always really fun to see classes that come outside for their class periods. Professors who are teaching to a semicircle of Adirondack chairs out in the sun. It's one of the greatest things that I've seen, and I think that's part of one of the campus culture is enjoying what we have, enjoying the time we have at this wonderful place, but also being able to work hard in those same spaces and sort of balancing those two. And I think most people here do it really well, and that's kind of one of the central tenets of Gettysburg, in my opinion.
I completely agree. The campus is so beautiful, especially right now when the flowers are blooming. Especially for me, when I applied to Gettysburg, I saw a picture of Glatfelter. I was like immediately, oh my gosh, this looked like a Hogwarts like building literally on this campus. This is so cool. So like I have a few classes in Glatfelter, and it's just for political science, and it's really so beautiful to be able to just walk and see this beautiful building on campus. And one of my favorite spot on campus is Servo, and getting food at Servo, and Regina, which is our celebrity at Servo. And every time we swipe in, and she just, sometimes there's like bad days, and just seeing her smile and like hugging her is like really just very touching, and having that. And also it's a great place for me and my friends just to get food and just having a conversation at the end of the day, which is lovely. And our next question is, what is one thing you wish you knew before you coming to Gettysburg? Let's start with Zach.
I was thinking about this question as it came up, and the thing that I think I would have wanted to know as a first year was that it will take time to find your space here. It's not going to be this instant, you have immediately. That's not how it works anywhere. But I think at Gettysburg, it's you know that you will find a space. There are spaces for everyone, and places that everyone can feel comfortable. There are clubs, there are ensembles, and there are different labs. There are whatever you are interested in. There are other people who are interested in that too. And to know that there are other people, I would have liked to know, or tell myself as a first year, you will meet those people. Just go out and sort of explore the things that you want to do, and there will be people who want to do those things too, and you'll become a family through that.
Oh, I like that. Thank you, Zach. How about you, Diego?
I think for myself, I wish I knew that it's okay to ask for help, because my first year was probably one of the roughest years that I had, because I'm so much of a family man that being away from my family was difficult, and also transitioning to college work was also difficult. So just knowing that just because I might need to ask for help does not mean that I am less intelligent or I don't deserve to be here or anything like that. So I wish I knew that I could ask for help earlier, because the people that I was able to ask for help from were some of the kindest people. And that's one of the reasons why I'm so heavily supportive of the Office of Multicultural Engagement, because that's where I asked for help, and that's where I, like Zach said, found my family. And that's something that will never, ever change. Without these 4 years, I don't think I would be able to be as structured and be here in this panel, in this opportunity right now, without asking for help. So that's something that I wish I knew before coming in.
Thank you. How about you, Jordyn?
Yeah, so I think being open-minded to opportunities is really important. I mean, there'll be so many opportunities that you're exposed to when you get to Gettysburg, both in terms of clubs and academics. But I think it's also really important for you not to overextend yourself, especially in the first year. It can be very tempting to come on campus and say, I'm going to join everything. I am going to get straight A pluses, and I am going to, be working all the time. And sure, it can be fun to clubs and get involved, but you definitely need to make sure you have time for yourself and time for your friends. And I think it's really important to give yourself casual time, give yourself time to just sit and relax. And it's also really important to, build in that relaxation time in your schedule, make it a priority to get a meal with your friends. Don't just sit in the library and eat alone. It's really important to get involved in everything, but it's also really important to take care of your mental health and make sure that you are enjoying your time, because you're only here for 4 years. And I have enjoyed these 4 years so very much. I wish I didn't have to leave. But there were certainly times where I was so stressed out about everything, and you really need to keep everything in perspective and prioritize and know what's important.
Oh, I so agree with everyone. For me, definitely mental health is so important, and coming to Gettysburg, just the culture shock for me was a huge thing I have to cope with as a first year. But I really appreciate the support system that I had, especially with International Student Services. Brad Lancaster, who is the coordinator, he's doing such a fabulous job in easing international students' process to adjusting to the college campus. And something I wish I could knew earlier on or take advantage of is the free counseling services on campus. It's so useful. Sometimes it's can be hard, especially for me personally. I haven't, with the pandemic and everything, and haven't been home, so it's definitely can be challenging in terms of academics and also that personal side of my life. But having the free counseling services is really helpful. I go to counseling every 2 weeks, and that's something that I prioritize, and Gettysburg definitely see the benefits of that. So I really appreciate having that opportunity as well. All right. Thank you all so much for your questions. We really enjoyed answering your questions, and please reach out to us if you have any questions. And again, congratulations. We're really excited for you all. And if you have any questions, this is our emails. Please feel free to reach out. We're really happy to hear from you. And again, thank you so much for taking the time out of your precious Sunday night to be with us. Great. Thank you all. Have a good night.